In this video we shall discuss how to calculate average values. For convenience, the first two tasks are placed on the same screen. In the first one, we have to show the average quantity of copies of books each reader currently has taken. In the second one, we should show the average quantity of books, not the copies, but books each reader currently has taken. The difference is the next. If someone has taken, for instance, 2 books with identifier 3, we shall count them as 2 books, and here we shall count them as only 1 book. With our current data set, the result is the same for both tasks, but we shall see the difference in the queries. For the first task, where we are calculating the number of copies of books, the solution is the next. This is the query as the source for another query. And in the inner query, we use count to calculate how many books each subscriber has for now. So we count only active subscriptions. And once we have that number, we pass that number to AVG function, and then function will return the result. With Oracle, the query is the same, and with Microsoft SQL Server, we have to convert that integer into float in order to get the correct average result, as it was shown in one of the previous videos. The only difference in solution for the second task, when we are calculating the books, not copies, but books, is the distinct keyword. So once again, for instance, someone has taken 2 books with identifier 3. Due to that distinct keyword, these 2 books will be calculated as only 1 book, not 2, but 1. The REST idea for all these 3 queries is the same and was explained a couple of seconds ago. The next 2 tasks are also here on the same screen. In task 3, we have to show the average number of days a subscriber reads a book, and we shall take into account only cases when a book was returned. In the fourth task, we should show the average number of days a subscriber reads a book, but we shall take into account both cases, when a book was returned and was not yet returned. The expected result for the third task is the next, but for the fourth task, the result will depend on the particular date you execute the query, and you, in your particular case, will absolutely have another number here. So this is the solution for the task 3, when we take into account only cases when a book was returned, so the subscription is not active. The only difference between MySQL, MS SQL and Oracle solution here is the approach to calculation of that difference between 2 dates. And here it is, and of course in Microsoft SQL Server we have to convert the result into float data type. And then we pass that distance in days between 2 days into average function. And that's all. For the task 4, when we have to take into account both cases when a book was returned and was not yet returned, the solution is somehow different. First of all, you may see that there are 2 queries united with union operator. The first query uses start date and explicit finish date, and we use it in the next cases, when a finish date is less or equal to current date and the subscription is not active, or when the finish date is greater than current date and the subscription is active. And we have to rely on current date value for the next 2 cases, when the finish date is less or equal to the current date and the subscription is active, or the finish date is greater than current date and the subscription is not active. This is not a part of SQL syntax. This is not a magic. This only comes from the subject matter. In our library, we decided to calculate those date differences this way. In some other library, the approach may differ. Nevertheless, we calculate that difference between dates, and then we pass that difference into our AVG function, and that function produces the final result. For MS SQL, the approach is absolutely the same idea about those 4 situations. The only difference is how to calculate the distance between 2 dates, and of course we have to convert the result into float data type in order to get correct average results. And Oracle approach is almost exactly the same as MySQL one. Here we see how simple it is to calculate the difference between two dates in Oracle, and here is how to get the current date in this DBMS. We have to call sysdate, and then we have to pass that result into trunc function in order to get only date without time. The rest logic is the same and was explained earlier for MySQL solution.